That's something I don't really want to get too deep into in the details of.
The ambulance is out there on the field, and they are intensely working on Damar Hamlin.
American football is one of the most dangerous sports that majority of us like to watch. We throw Super Bowl parties, drink beers, hang out with friends and family. But while we sit on the couch watching, it's totally different for the players on the field. They are putting their health on the line. There was 2,000 total injuries in the 2020 NFL season. Some injuries could lead players to miss games or even the whole season. But one injury happened that us football enthusiasts will never forget. On January 2nd, 2023, two really dominant teams went head-to-head for a chance to play in the Super Bowl 57. The two teams were the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals. This game held a tremendous amount of pressure. Whoever ended up winning this showdown would be the number one seed in the AFC and the only team to receive the first round bye. The game started out pretty fast. The Bengals got the ball first and drove it down the field to the 20. On the very next play, Burrow would sling the ball to Tyler Boyd for a touchdown. That possession was only 3 minutes. The Buffalo Bills would receive the ball next. They would drive the ball down the field to let Tyler Bass kick a 25-yard field goal, which would be good. With only 7 minutes left, the Bengals would receive the ball once again. But then it happened. The scariest day in NFL history. On the second play of the drive, Burrow would pass the ball to T. Higgins. T. Higgins would lower his shoulder to defend the tackle and gain some more yards. Damar Hamlin would make the tackle. Everything would appear normal, just like it was a regular tackle. But when the play was over, Damar would get to his feet and then all of a sudden, he would collapse on the field. The refs would call for an injury timeout and the game would stop. Within seconds, medical professional and athletic trainers would rush on the field. They would start emergency CPR for 10 minutes until the ambulance would have arrived. Hamlin would be down on the field for 20 minutes, which felt like an eternity. Players from both teams would stand around hoping for the best outcome. The stadium that was booming a couple minutes ago is now dead silence. Damar received some oxygen from the paramedics. Soon after, he would be loaded into the ambulance with his mother and be transported directly to the UC Medical Center 4 miles away. Everyone was shocked on what just happened. The game of football was the last thing everyone was worried about. Then Joe Buck would say this.
Been given 5 minutes to quote-unquote get ready to go back to playing. That's the word we get from the league and the word we get from down on the field, but nobody's moving.
Other players would be hugging each other and shedding tears for their teammates whose status would be unknown. During this time, refs and both head coaches would be discussing the matter if they should continue the game or not. But the head coach of Buffalo would pull his team off the field and head back to the locker room. Shortly after, the game would be canceled and rescheduled for another time, over an hour since Damar had collapsed. Stephon Diggs, other teammates, and the Bengals head coach Zach Taylor would go to the hospital to visit Damar, but on the way in, Diggs would be stopped by an on-duty officer to see his teammate. Diggs would force his way in, saying, "We just need to be there for our teammate." Outside, over 100 fans would line up to show their support for Damar. Then finally, there was an announcement on Damar's status. The doctors would explain that the cause of the collapse was due to a heart attack on the field, but Damar would still be in critical condition. 3 days have passed and there will be no update on Damar's status. But on January 5th, not only would the NFL cancel the Bills-Bengal game, but we would get news on Damar directly from the UC Medical Center. His neurological function is completely normal. He was able to breathe with a breathing tube, and he was able to communicate by writing. And of course, the first thing he asked was, "Did we win?" The medical staff responded with, "You won. You won the game of life." The following day, Damar would be off the breathing tube and was able to breathe on his own and able to talk to friends and family. Damar would make a FaceTime call to his teammates and would tell them, "Love you boys." The following day would be the first NFL game since the incident. Love is shown in impeccable ways. Every team in the league would show their support during warm-ups by wearing Love for Damar t-shirts with the number 3. But nothing was quite as special as what the Bills had in store. At home in the final game of the season, Buffalo players would walk through the tunnel wearing Damar's numbers. The players would run out to a full stadium who was supporting Damar. Multiple players would be running out with flags that read, "Love for Damar." The medical team and staff would be on the field where they would be honored for what they did. But how the game started is unreal. The New England Patriots would win the coin flip but defer, so the Bills would receive the kickoff. What happened next is unreal.
New England decided to defer after winning the toss. And here's Hines on the run back, breaking a tackle and taking it past midfield. And down the sideline he goes. This is storybook. An opening kickoff return for Damar Hamlin. And this place is absolutely going wild.
Damar would watch this unfold from his hospital bed. The Bills would win that game for Damar 35-23. The teammates would FaceTime Damar shortly after the game and give Damar the game-winning ball, as well as the man who saved his life a week ago, Danny Kellington, the Bills' assistant athletic trainer who performed emergency CPR that Monday night. All of Damar's medical tests would go great, making him able to head back to Buffalo, the place he calls home, where he would make a public speech a couple days later. Thank you for watching and comment on what you want to see next.